on. You're checking out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. We are dropping a new episode for you guys Thursday of May the 14th, 2020. What is going on, guys? I can't believe it. This month of May, it feels like it just began literally last week. Honestly, for me, I don't know how it's been for you. I know there's a lot of you guys right now that are still stuck at home because of the whole quarantine bullshit, but if you're kind of fortunate like me and you're basically a essential worker, you're working the front lines and everything, then again, maybe not. Maybe you could just be noticing how much time is going by, but I swear to God, it feels like this month of May has just been blazing by so far. And to think, we got the Memorial Day holiday right around the corner. But you know what? Of all the memorial holidays that has come to us from over the years, this one is going to be very unique, unlike any other. Am I right? I mean, this is going to be one of the most oddest ones. It really makes you wonder as we get ready to creep into Memorial Day, how's things going to be when we get ready to go into the 4th of July. I mean, we got an indication of how probably Memorial Day is going to be with Cinco de Mayo. I don't know how it was in your respected neck of the woods for those of you that maybe live in an area that's mixed, but you got a decent amount of Hispanics or whatever. Or you know people that usually get together with friends to celebrate Cinco de Mayo or whatever. But usually these past several years since I've had the house that I've had, I mean, you could guarantee that when it got closer to Cinco de Mayo, people were having barbecues left and right, having drinks and staying up until 1, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 o'clock in the morning. Fiesta forever. It's just, all night long, just all that. And this was the most quietest Cinco de Mayo I've ever experienced. Now, before somebody says, yeah, but with the quarantine, well, try explaining that to a family. What do you say to that family that consists of 5? Everybody's related to each other and everything, and they want to have a barbecue. And I guess with everything that's going on, maybe people are scared. They don't want the police knocking on their door because that just leads into some other BS. I don't want to touch upon that, but immigration status, I don't know. I hate to speculate like that, but going to Cinco de Mayo was definitely very, very weird. I got to tell you. So if Cinco de Mayo a couple of weeks ago was any indication of what we can expect for Memorial Day coming up shortly in not even 2 weeks, right? It's coming up. Feels like maybe about less than 2 weeks away we are from Memorial Day. It makes you wonder how things are going to be when we get ready to jump into the month of July. But hopefully by then, we'll somewhat be at least halfway back to normal. Do appreciate you guys that's checking me out live right now. We are streaming on multiple platforms. We are streaming on YouTube. We're also streaming on Twitch. We're also streaming on Facebook, and we are streaming on Mixer. So please, ladies, gents, feel free to take your pick as far as where you'd like to go check out the show. But we got the chat rooms available on those multiple platforms. Definitely going to do like we've been doing the last few shows. If wherever you are, however you're checking it out, I'm definitely going to do my best to make this be as interactive as possible. Get you guys involved in the show and everything. So yeah, have at it. I want to just, we're just shooting the shit. We're kind of doing the shit around here. Just shoot around for this episode. I don't want to do the traditional way that we normally do the shows. I just want to, whatever kind of comes to my mind a little bit, we'll just shoot the shit and we'll just see where everything goes and everything. And, we're definitely going to have some fun. We're definitely going to be talking about just the key points because I don't want to be doing full-blown recaps. You guys know I don't really like doing the full-blown recaps unless it comes to the pay-per-views. But I do want to talk about some key points from Raw. Definitely talk about some key points from NXT, AEW Dynamite. Definitely want to talk some key points about Impact Wrestling. I've been watching the last 3 episodes of Impact Wrestling, including what went down this past Tuesday on Access TV. Definitely want to talk about that a bit. So loads of stuff that we're going to be able to get into. So kick on back, relax. You're going to have a damn good time. I promise you guys. Damn good time. So where to begin with this show? Because we can go in so many different directions with this. What is going on with you, Fuggums? Fuggums, is that how you say your name? Fuggums, the guy in YouTube. It's a funny ass name. His name is Mr. Fuggums. We know what's on your mind. You nasty. But I'm just gonna call you Mr. F. That's what we're gonna call you from here on out. I want to try to keep it a little clean here. I tell you what. Because with my new schedule now, depending, I'm not really able to react to some things in real time that you guys are accustomed to. Whether it's I'm giving reactions immediately when some of your favorite shows are on and I happen to be watching right along with you guys and I'm tweeting with you guys in real time, or maybe there's a post show that I'm dropping as soon as whatever is going off the air. So if you were with me Sunday for the Money in the Bank post show, you guys know I told you all, hey, I'm actually going to be taking Monday off. What, did I say Monday? I'm pretty sure I said I'm taking Monday off. We're either going to do a show Wednesday or Thursday, but as long as you're connected on social media, you guys will know what's going on. So I did not watch Monday Night Raw in real time Monday night. I didn't watch Monday Night Raw. I did not watch who else? Impact Wrestling. I didn't watch any of those things until Wednesday night going into Thursday. Because I said, okay, well, I got Thursday off. So I'll wait till the missus is asleep. And, because now her and her staff that work in dental health care, all of them, they're now back on the saddle again. They're going through training, getting bookings ready, all that good shit. So she was getting her shut eye. I'm left Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. Okay, I'm just going to binge on some shit. Let's see what all I've missed. So I binge back to back to back to back to back. All right. So look, Monday Night Raw, again, just key points. I'm not doing full-blown recaps. To hear the announcement about Becky Lynch, we all had got a little bit of a teaser on social media that she was planning something. Okay, what exactly is she planning? Your guess was as good as mine. I gotta be honest. Previous years, my mind is like on other shit right now. Like my mind is on so much more than wrestling right now. I know that for a lot of people, wrestling is just all they eat, sleep, breathe, shit and everything, but there comes a point in time in some people's lives, I'm not sure how it is for you, but there comes a point in some people's lives where, not necessarily bad news or anything like that, but there comes a time where you gotta go, I gotta pump the brakes on this a little bit, and I gotta decompress, because I got some shit that's going on over here that needs my attention. So for me, and if you notice on social media, I was kind of laying a little bit low the past couple of days because all I've really been doing is just trying to get lost in work and doing stuff around the house, catching up on some artwork. That's it. So I've been laying relatively low. So I really didn't have time to marinate on what's Becky Lynch gonna announce. All I said to myself was, well, she's not injured. That much I do know. She's not injured. So your guess was as good as mine if you were kind of wondering, what the hell was going on, but if you didn't really think too much of it. So to see how that opening Raw segment played out, where she had Asuka come out, revealed the whole, hey, you weren't just fighting for a Money in the Bank briefcase, you were basically fighting to become the new women's champion, the new Raw women's champion. Open up the briefcase and there's the title right there. That was just, wow. Okay. Now, I kind of have to be a little bit consistent here. Okay. Because we did a show, was it last week that they did the Triple H 25th anniversary special? Whatever week that was. I know it began with SmackDown and supposedly it continued into the following week's Raw. But I remember we came on a Friday night when they did that special for Triple H. And I remember going over some of the matches my personal favorite. Like, not necessarily matches, but highlights. But it was mainly matches that I enjoyed from Triple H's career, milestone moments. And one of the moments that I brought up that I thought was really badass was when Eric Bischoff just nonchalantly just, boom, big gold belt, back into play. You follow the history of it. Just go back. I gave a really nice list as far as my personal favorite moments from Hunter's career. But I brought that up as one of my top favorites. Everybody's list is different. For me, that was one of my top favorites. Not number one, not number two, not number three, but it was definitely one of my top favorites. And I'm seeing Becky Lynch just hand over this championship to Asuka. I'm having shades of that a little bit, so to speak. So I'm going, okay, well, all right, this is good. And then I'm just kicking back. I'm looking at this segment and I'm going, okay, well, up to this point, Asuka has been doing a lot of heelish things. She's been talking mad shit in Japanese, and she's been a pro at it. I've been enjoying her shit. So I was waiting for her to really fucking go there on Becky, but she didn't go there. I mean, she did. She teased us there. She grabbed the title. She's dancing. She's strutting, going over to the announcer's table. She's dancing on there, and I was like, okay, all right, usual Asuka. Then Becky makes the announcement, hey, while you're being a champion, I'm paraphrasing here, while you're doing your thing as a champion, I'm going to be off being a mom. And Asuka, oh, baby, who? Mother? Baby? And then there's this whole celebration, and that was buzzkill for me. Call me a stickler for detail. Call me somebody that is just, what's the right word I'm looking for? It'll come to me in a second, but I always love rooting the bad guys. That's just me. To each its own. But for me, I always love rooting for a good heel. And if there was ever a time where you should have had a scenario play about where Becky Lynch gets owned, it really should have been, of all people too, it really should have been by the new Raw Women's Champion Asuka. I'd have loved it if Asuka did something to freaking Becky Lynch so that, okay, well, once Becky Lynch is done doing her thing, she gives birth and she spends time with the child and she's getting that itch to get back in the ring. Okay, well, this is how things last left off between these two. You can easily pick it right back up. I wasn't exactly fond of how all of that had played out. I wasn't. Teach it some. Look, it was a beautiful moment. Make no mistake about that. It was definitely a beautiful moment. I loved it. I appreciate and I respect the fact that Becky Lynch wanted to take this moment and she wanted to celebrate it with all of her fans. I really appreciate that. Every single thing that she said in her speech, I really felt it. I didn't feel it was just a case of let me figure out something catchy to say. Yeah, this sounds really good. People will love this. I really feel everything that she had said Monday night was straight up from the heart. No doubt about that. But for me, if there was ever... And look, back up a little bit. Given everything that's been going on right now, come on, man. You all have either seen the news, or you're listening to it, or you're reading about it. Y'all know what's going on with this COVID-19 bullshit. So every time you turn on the channel is doom and gloom. Although I gotta give props to a couple of networks. There's a couple of news affiliate networks that's doing a really good job and trying to dedicate, at least for instance, if they're on for an hour, they pretty much give you doom and gloom for the first 30 minutes. Within the last 30 minutes, they try to tell you good, uplifting stories that's happening in your community and everything. So I appreciate the fact that you got a lot of news affiliates that's trying to do their best. And then, not for nothing, but you also have some news affiliates that's trying to do their best and not scaring people. Just, these are the facts. Here's what's being done. But then also mix in a lot of good feel stories and everything. My point, there's a lot of doom and gloom that's out there. So to see Becky Lynch bring us in, no matter where we were, all around the world, and let us know about this cool thing that's happening for her. My only criticism, I wish she didn't go out there when she was beginning everything. I wish she didn't go out there and acted as if she tore her fucking quad, or, you know, she's got to go get hip replacement surgery, or you know, she got hit with the COVID and she's got to, you know, I'm looking at her as everything is leading up to this, and it's never on my mind. Pregnancy, I'm looking at her and it's sounding pretty doom and gloom the way she's talking, and I'm trying to understand, well, why is she going away here? What I don't understand. What's going on? And I'm feeling myself react to, okay, something grave must have went down. Is there a death in the family? She lost her mom? What the hell's going on? And then when she finally got to the heart of the matter, Don Henley's song, I'm trying to get down to the heart of the matter, and I can't help but stop thinking about forgiveness. Old school song, you guys gotta forgive me. Eagles, look it up. Don Henley, forgiveness. Even if you don't love me anymore. Great fucking song. It was like, okay, doom and gloom, what's going on, Becky? And finally she reveals, oh, wow. So that's how we're going to bring about you're pregnant. You know, we're gonna make it all doom and gloom. We're not gonna do the Creed song. Well, I just heard the news today. Seems my life is gonna change. I close my eyes, begin to pray as tears of joy stream down my face with arms wide open. You know, like, I already told my girl, I said, the minute that, you know, you and me finally, you know, work on some kids, because during this whole COVID thing, if there was ever a time to concede, it'd be now, but it's like, no, don't want no kid right now. Definitely don't want no kid right now. But, you know, now that things are kind of back to normal, and, you know, it's like, okay, all right, the money's back in. All right. Now it's, hey, baby, what's going on? I already told her. I said, as soon as you tell me you're pregnant, there was actually one time, I think it was last year or a year and a half ago, she had noticed some signs and she got a pregnancy test. And I remember I was on my way home from work, and, you know, I was so excited, you know, and that's the first song that popped up in my head. So to see Becky, that's the other gripe that I kind of had. It's like, no, this is a joyous occasion. This is awesome on so many levels. Yeah, it kind of sucks because, yeah, you're at the mountaintop right now, and the fans, they were the ones that really breathed life into you. Yeah, the fans were there for you through thick and thin. They were always rooting you on. You know, you had haters out there. You had people that were always, Becky, whatever. But the core fans always, they were there for you. They were always being supportive of you and everything. And they pretty much, the man would not exist. And that is very true with what she said last night, or Monday night. The man would not exist without the fans. And the moment that they had came in, everything just worked so well together when it was all said and done. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, she's pregnant. God bless her. I hope that the term of this pregnancy, I hope it goes through successfully without any type of complications, because complications can happen. So shout out to her, and I'm assuming Seth is still the man in play. I'm not TMZ. I don't really, you know, whatever they want us to know, that's one thing. I don't pry, but congrats. I hope the pregnancy goes through and everything. Of course, you know, looking at this now, this creates a couple of different scenarios here. You know, one of the big questions you got right now, first off, Asuka sliding in there, you can't deny it. You can't deny what you've been seeing, the work of Asuka these past couple of months. If there has been an MVP during this whole pandemic, if there has been a true MVP for the women's roster, at least on Raw, I could almost make the argument just between Raw and SmackDown, period. I could almost make the argument as far as the MVP goes. I could almost say, I could definitely say Asuka. Now, when I throw NXT into the mix, I could almost go with Asuka #1 on my list as well. There is a #2 up in there as well. But at least for the Raw SmackDown side of things, definitely for Raw, Asuka has been a damn good MVP. And it couldn't happen to anybody. Honestly, I think Asuka fans are probably, and they should be on cloud 9 right now, because you had that period in time where Asuka, they were building her up pretty good when she first came to the roster. She was undefeated. Anybody remember the whole, what was it they were doing on Mixed Match Challenge? Yeah, Mixed Match Challenge they were doing on Facebook. And they had put that stupid, we were able to get into that until they had put that stupid stipulation out there talking about how Asuka's streak was on the line. And then you just knew, it was a foregone conclusion, she's going to win that whole fucking tournament. What the hell? But it was good for what it was worth, checking it out on Facebook Watch and everything. But, it seemed like things were being built up with her pretty good. And we saw how that had culminated. And that kind of made us all go, kind of don't have faith in the system on the main roster. Seems like they're going to kind of fuck her over here now. They're fucking her over right now. Where exactly do you go from here? And, there's been some ups and downs. We can all admit that. There has been some ups and downs, but now it really seems as though she's finally found her stride, and she's been the MVP in my book these past couple of months, without a doubt. But Asuka sadly cannot do it alone. She sadly cannot do it alone. I know the Iconics returned. No disrespect, I still give two shits not about the Iconics. My whole thing is, okay, you're back. Great. Oh, wow, you had a tag match too that same night you came back. Great. Moment of bliss, whatever. I don't care. I don't care right now. So, for me, I'm not hating on the Iconics. Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, I'm not hating on them. My whole thing is, I have the right to be reserved and see what you guys can do for me this go round. I haven't seen you, per the commentators. I believe they said they haven't been on programming in 7 months. Okay, it's been almost 7 months. Okay, well, excuse me if I'm not jumping up and down for joy that you're back. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be reserved, and I want to see what you got this go round. Nothing was impressive for me this past Monday in their return match, but I'm not going to be quick to write them off. My whole thing is this go round, and this is the best advice I can give to anybody, which is anybody else that's kind of feeling the way I'm feeling. It's okay to feel that way, but don't be so quick to put the seal of approval of, yeah, fuck them. Just, okay, well, this is how I feel right now. But you know what? Give the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what happens 3 months from now. That's 3 months body of work where we can, okay, this is where we are right now. This is where our gauge is as fans on these people. And then it's a case of, well, what can be done different? So, at a time where you got Becky Lynch making her exit, you got the Iconics, they need somebody to step up in a huge, huge way. This is next woman up right now on that roster. And Shayna, we talked about her off and on. That reminds me, I got an unboxing I'm going to be uploading soon where I talk a lot more actually, about Shayna Baszler and everything. So again, I'm not going to get into that, but Shayna Baszler, what do you do with her now? What do you do with her now? Because it's not working so far on Raw. Do you activate Marina Shariff, Jasmine Duke? Do you reactivate them? And do you have them team up with her on Raw? Because, if there was ever a time where, in a perfect world, when you really kind of step and think about it, in a perfect world, it would kind of make sense under the circumstances to go ahead, reactivate those girls, pair her up with Shayna, let them run roughshod all throughout the roster and everything, and everything could just culminate. Now look, this is just freestyle thinking. This isn't written down. The way this show works, I got the bullet points in my head, I lay it out there, and sometimes what I say comes to fruition. But if you ask me what I would like to see happen, see Marina and Jasmine reunite with Shayna. They're just all up and down the roster. It culminates in maybe Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan. Oh, sadly, we don't have Sarah Logan in there anymore, do we? So you can't exactly do the Riot Squad anymore. Well, maybe you could add a new girl into the mix. You can always entertain that idea. Who would that third girl be? Honestly, who said it has to be a permanent third girl for the Riot Squad? You could always just have it be a rotating third member. Somebody that's an honorary member, kind of like what the Shield was doing there, especially right after Dean Ambrose left and everything, for just that short little period there. But you got plenty of options that you could do there. But next woman up, when it's all said and done, next woman has to step up. Somebody that we haven't seen in a while, and I actually looked her up last week because I was actually in a Discord and I was talking with some other people about her, and we were going over, well, how long has this person been out? How long has that person been out? And one of the people's names that was brought up was Amber Moon. Amber Moon had got some surgery done, and I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it, but Amber Moon hasn't wrestled. If I remember it right, I think Amber Moon hasn't wrestled since last year. So I'm not really sure. I want to say it feels like maybe she hasn't done anything since October of last year. If that's the case, then one of the questions you got to be asking yourself right now is, where exactly is she as far as her recovery process? Because you and me, we could be throwing up different names left and right. We all could. We could be throwing names left and right of people we think, oh, well, this person should be able to slide in there and they should be able to. But first question you got to ask yourself is, okay, well, as nice of a name that is to be bringing up, we don't know where they are as far as their recovery process goes. And yeah, we're going to have dirt sheets. They're going to tell us, oh, rumor has it this, rumor has it that, blah, 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 blah. But until we actually see that person return to television, all that is just hearsay. All that is just speculation, all that shit. And I'm actually, now, once in a while, I'll take some little notes or whatever, but I just happened to actually hop in the Discord and see that last little exchange that I had. Yeah, the last time Amber Moon was in action was September 23rd of 2019, and she had a match against Lacey Evans on Monday Night Raw, and she's been out with an injury ever since. So depending on where she is right now with her recovery, that's the $1 million question. But for me personally, I'm not looking at one specific girl to what I'm looking for. If you ask me what I'm looking for right now with the women's division, just in general, I don't care if it's Raw, I don't care if it's SmackDown, I don't care if it's NXT. What I'm looking at right now is, okay, girls, the Taminas, the Naomis, the Lacey Evans, the Carmellas, everybody. You wanted that spot that Becky Lynch had. Y'all were offended when Ronda Rousey came in there, and okay, now you got no fucking excuse. Now, there's no Ronda Rousey, at least as far as we can see, for the foreseeable future. And I like getting the questions from time to time about Ronda Rousey. I'm not fucking Houdini. I think the correct question to be asking is, would I like to see Ronda Rousey return to the WWE? That's a no-brainer. Yeah, I gave her so much praise. I was one of the few podcasters, while everybody else, remember, long-time listeners, when everybody else was shitting on Ronda Rousey's in-ring ability and everything, I was one of the few podcasters that said, no, look at what's going on with her right now. Yeah, she's a bit rough around the edges. Give her about 3 months. She's going to get that shit down. Trust me on it. it's all going to come together. Yeah, her mic promos. And I was real quick to tell you guys, obviously y'all ain't been watching her in the MMA world because she's a woman of very few words when it comes to her interviews and all that shit. She likes to go in there and just tear shit up. She want to tear a motherfucker up. 3 months go past in the WWE, and then you started to see people come around. Oh, yeah, she's actually, I said, yeah, if this is what she can do in 3 months, just imagine what she can do in 6 months. And I mean, she left right when she was at her peak of scratching the surface. So if she does come back, it's a question that I love the question, but I get so exhausted because there's been so many people, no matter how it's been phrased to me on the show over these past several months, when you get right down to it, heart of the matter, there I go, citing that Don Henley song again. It's the same question. Ronda Rousey, when you think, she's returning, your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. Would I like to see her come back? Yeah, I would, because look at what we got right now with the women's division. The biggest problem with the women's division right now is that outside of Asuka, nobody has really been properly built up. And that's the God's the honest truth. So, ain't no Ronda Rousey right now. Ain't no Becky Lynch right now. My message to all the women on that roster, stretched across all the brands, this is your opportunity to get noticed. This is your opportunity for that camera time. This is your opportunity to maybe make a serious good impression and elevate yourself, elevate your brand. My question is, which one of you girls is going to step up? Who is going to step up and who's going to seize the opportunity? Because this is a golden opportunity that's available right now. And, going back to Amber Moon one more time, look, got a lot of respect for Amber Moon. A lot of respect for Amber Moon. If she can somehow string together the personality / connection to the fans, she kind of needs one of her, her Becky Lynch moments. And I'm not saying a bloody face. That's not what I'm saying. But she needs that pop. She needs that social media breakthrough moment where she's over. And until she can really have something like that, I need to see her do something like Edge, get grit. Yeah, I need to see her. Maybe she's got something in store for us when she does return. Maybe she does. But if you ask me personally, the girls I'm eyeing right now, just pretending for a moment there's no Ronda Rousey in the picture. Just, okay, lead your list. Who would you like to see of the roster? It goes back to what I had said with regards to Money in the Bank. I was really hoping that Lacey Evans would be thrown off the roof and we wouldn't see her on TV for several weeks because I was looking for her to get a total repackage. There was ever a time to, all right, let's be done with this foghorn, leghorn. Oh my God, it is so hot. Need me some sweet iced tea. There's ever time to get rid of that freaking gimmick. This is the time. Do a total overhaul with her. Tap into that military background of hers and everything. You're taking advantage of a fucking badass opportunity from a PR standpoint, given everything that's going on right now. Hey, I'm always thinking from a PR standpoint. My former industry for almost 10 years was marketing and market research. So it would just get her over and connect her so well with fans on so many levels. So many fucking levels, especially when it comes to doing the Make-A-Wishes and all that shit. But they're still going with that tired ass gimmick. But I feel under the right gimmick, she's definitely one. During the absence of Becky Lynch, she's definitely one that has a really good opportunity to break through. I'm not counting her out. Tamina Snuka, that is still somebody I think can still break through. I just gave a pass to Amber Moon. That's another one that, under the right circumstances, she could probably break through. Looking at the rest of the roster, she's a wild card, but you know what? She has done such a really good job as a manager, as a valet, and not for nothing, but and it's really sad because anybody that did not get a chance to check out on a lot, because homegirl can fucking wrestle. I'm talking about Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega, just the way everything has, she is like a AJ Lee 2.0. I mean, I can see a lot under the right W, and we talk about other promotions too, usually on the Wednesday shows that we do and everything. And I do have some MLW news and everything, but somebody that I could compare easily Zelina Vega to, and some of you guys are probably like, who? But if you are not watching MLW, you're not going to know. You should be watching MLW is the point that I'm making right now, while they are on hiatus like other promotions. And that's Selena De La Renta. When you see the work of Selena De La Renta, you're reminded big time of Zelina Vega. But if you were to do a poll, I'm quite sure a majority of you guys would give the edge slightly more to Zelina Vega. And you all would probably say, yeah, Selena De La Renta, when she pieces everything together, this is exactly where but not for nothing. So Selena De La Renta, I think she's either 21 or 22 right now. So she's just scratching the surface of her fucking career. Give her about 4 or 5 more fucking years, and she'll probably, if not be at Zelina Vega's status, she'll probably surpass that. And I believe she will. Give her about less than 5 years. I think she'll surpass Zelina Vega. But Zelina Vega, I wouldn't count her out as well, as far as a champion goes. That can really break through, be pretty mainstream, all of that shit. See, just going through the rest of the roster, thinking about some other girls there. They got rid of her. I was a little bit bummed out about it. Rachel Ellering, that was somebody that I had very high regard for. But they got rid of her. Kind of sucks. Rhea Ripley, now that she's been properly introduced to the main brands, she is someone that could potentially very easily slide into the Becky Lynch role very easily. So I'm very curious now that she's back on NXT and everything, and it appears she's trying to continue on her feud with Charlotte and get back that NXT championship, which, by the way, next week on NXT, it's going to be Io Shirai taking on Rhea Ripley one-on-one. You can't help but kind of have that in the back of your mind. Well, could Rhea maybe, in place of Becky under the circumstances, could Rhea maybe slide right on over? We've seen her before on the flagship shows. Think back to the Invasion and all that. So she's one that could easily, and then going into WrestleMania against Charlotte, she's one that could easily, there is that familiarity there already established. So you could easily slide her right in there. So but those would be the girls. If I could just home in on some key girls right now, those would be the ones. And I can't end the talk without mentioning my girl, Bianca Belair. Come on. Bianca Belair is another one that you can. WWE has options. But here's the thing. Who's going to step up? That's the main thing. Who the hell is going to step up? We shall see. We shall see in due time. Just trying to think if there's anything else as far as what I wanted to talk about from Raw this week. I like how they try to explain what happened with Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio. Oh, they didn't exactly fall to their deaths. They fell about 6 feet from the top of the roof. They crashed on a landing, and they got banged up a little bit. But luckily, they were able to go into this matchup. Yeah. Oh, okay. Whatever. That was your opportunity there to do something really cool, but it is what it is. I like my idea too about Rey Mysterio being off TV for several weeks. Could have really stretched that out. Then you could have had young son Dominic try to give an update. King Corbin meddling in that business, poking fun, all that shit. Dominic tries to extract revenge for his dad. I really like that idea. It really makes you wonder when, if ever, is there going to be a time that young Dominic is going to be in action. But, you know, it is what it is. See, rest of the card here. I'm just looking at some other stuff here. The Seth Rollins spot, where he just had this dumbfound look on his face during the whole match. And he almost kind of had a Festus moment. That's exactly how I would refer to it. He had a Festus moment. I gave two shits not. You know, him coming out there, and I still don't care. You can have Seth Rollins come out, and you can have him have mustard all in his beard. I don't care. I've been very consistent. It does nothing for me. It does nothing. If I could be candid for a second, this Seth Rollins, this incarnation of Seth Rollins this go round, it feels different on a lot of levels. And what I mean by that is this Seth Rollins that we're seeing. Remember the Seth Rollins that was trying to act like a leader, supposedly, put the quotations in there, was trying to act like a leader supposedly, and remember how he defended the WWE when Dean Ambrose said what he said about the company shortly after he left. Remember that? And we saw Seth Rollins trying to be a bit more of a badass on social media and talking back to people. And you're looking at all of this. And just when you take the overall body of it, you're going, well, this is very uncharacteristic of Rollins. And some could maybe make the argument he's trying to be something that he's not, because this wasn't in his repertoire since day one of being in the company, and he's doing his whole thing with social media. This was not like him. You know, what's changed? What's going on here? And for me, just 2 cents from a distance, and I could be totally wrong, wouldn't be the first, definitely won't be the last. But unlike some people, I can admit when I'm wrong. It feels as though Seth Rollins is disengaged right now. I'm not really feeling that Rollins is truly invested in everything that's going on in the company right now. I mean, it feels like Seth Rollins is just on pilot control. It really does. It just, right down to how he looks. I've never seen Seth Rollins so small. The guy looks so fucking small. It's not even, you know, you're turning on your TV and, you know, okay, so where's the superstars? You know, Seth doesn't look like he did a couple of years ago. I can't quite put my finger on it, but if I could ever expand my thought, that's as far as I can get. It just really feels, you can usually tell when some people just, they're kind of going through the motions. They don't really seem like they're that into whatever's going on with the character and all this other shit. Now look, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not just basing that off of what we saw Monday night. I just mean in general what we've been seeing of him these past several months. It just, you just can't help but just go back to that one moment. I brought it up before, where they fucked up with Seth Rollins. They fucked up with Seth Rollins when it came to him paired up with Becky Lynch, and they were feuding against King Corbin and Lacey Evans. That's where everything really got fucked up. But I've also brought up this point a couple of times that I've brought that up. They also fucked up with Lacey Evans and Barry Corbin on the flip side to that. Because if there was ever a time where you could have made them both world champions, y'all, do I need to say any more? Do I need to say any more? I mean, seeing Baron Corbin do the end of days on fucking Becky Lynch. I mean, if there was ever an opportunity, okay, the chase. What have I always told you guys? The chase is better than the catch. All right. All right, let these two badasses go in here, shock the WWE fans, get those belts. Let's have Becky and Seth chase after those guys for a couple of months, go through their hurdles and all that shit. But but it seemed as though whatever coolness was going on with Seth Rollins, everything was all good up until that pairing there with Becky Lynch, and then it just kind of went to shitter, and he hasn't properly rebounded since, and it's been kind of difficult to watch when it's all said and done. But you know, it is what it is. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to add to some of the key points from Monday's WWE Raw. Just looking at the rest of the notes here. Although, Edge and Orton, I will at least bring that up. So, I like how in storyline, because I was very curious, how are we going to go to that next match between Orton and Edge? How exactly are we going to get there? And it was brilliant writing on WWE's part to have Edge come out there and say to us that, hey, you know, I came out here, I knew when I was supposed to be appearing on Raw, but this whole thing about me and Orton, you know, one more time, the way they advertised it, they didn't clear that with me. Gino, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Appreciate it. It's like they didn't clear that with me. But once again, we've got Edge talking about how one of the things that he's always thought about once he got cleared and he could get back to in-ring action, was thinking about what it'd be like to mix it up with some of the newer, younger faces that's on the roster. But then you have Randy Orton come out, and just that whole epic confrontation right there. Randy Orton, even though we hadn't seen these guys in a couple of weeks, I mean, this is still white hot good. Randy Orton coming out there and saying, okay, yeah, not for nothing, Royal Rumble match, okay, whatever, that's the Rumble. Street fight, you know, both of these pretty much on your terms, but straight up wrestling match. I'm curious. Been away for almost 10 years. 10 years is a long time. You already gave me props saying I'm one of the greatest ever to lace up a pair of boots. You've put me over more than once. I'm using your own words against you. So, how about this go round? You, me, one-on-one. Pure wrestling match. Yeah, and Edge is just having this scared look on his face like, dude, twice now you've teased the idea of mixing it up with other wrestlers. And now, and now you're coming off like, I'm scared. Like, dude, really? But I get it. I get it. I get it. I don't want to, because if I were to really nitpick that, I'd be an asshole for it. But you get where I'm going with that. So I like that whole doubt thing that they're putting an Edge there and basically setting up this backlash match. I'm looking forward to that. By the way, not to come off as a mark, but it always makes my ears perk up like my dog's ears perk up whenever I say, want a treat? It perked my ears to hear more than once, wrestling match, pure wrestling match. My ears just fucking lit up. I loved it. I ate that shit up big time. They should have a classic match. They should have a classic fucking encounter. I'm looking forward to that. That should be pretty good. Also next week on Raw, McIntyre, Corbin, Drew basically hearing Corbin talk a lot of shit. Come on over to Raw. Let's have an interpromotional match. So that's how we got that going on. Bliss and Cross, they're going to defend the tag titles against the Iconics. So, you know, but those are just some key points that kind of stuck to me this week as far as Raw goes. Again, we're not doing that whole full-blown fucking, we ain't doing, I mean, we do it like that, man. It's going to be a 3-hour show. Unless there is something that you feel is very significant that you want me to go into about for a couple of minutes, I have no problem doing that. But otherwise, we're just gonna keep it moving right along. So let's keep it moving right along here. I did check out Impact Wrestling. I told you guys I've been checking out Impact Wrestling the past 3 episodes. I did watch their Rebellion pay-per-view events that they aired on Access TV. Did you guys know, by the way, let me take a quick swig of this. Did you guys know, by the way, with regards to my Twitch channel, anytime you guys feel like watching some old Impact Wrestling stuff, feel free to hop on my Twitch channel, because I'm actually hosting Impact Wrestling's content on their channel. They actually allowed me to host their shit on my channel. So in between, when I'm not doing a show on Twitch, it just randomly you could pop up on my Twitch channel and you could see some classic shit from Impact Wrestling from back in the day. So pretty fucking cool. Just thought I'd let you guys know about that. Rebellion, I'd say go out of your way, check it out. Pretty good. I don't want to dive too much into that because that was 2 weeks ago. I want to focus more on this week's Impact. And again, not full-blown recap. I just want to talk about just key points that kind of jumped out to me. One, from Rebellion to this week's newest episode, Moose has been the fucking MVP of Impact Wrestling, and I have been loving it. The timing of what's going on right now with Tessa Blanchard not able to be on Impact, look, not for nothing, but that shit that went down with the controversy wasn't exactly too kind to her, and this is the best thing that could have possibly happened to her. When she does come back, it's gonna be just way in the rearview mirror. You know, people have been caught up on other shit. You know, not for nothing, but kind of going back to Becky Lynch one more time. We all can be in agreement. Becky Lynch was starting to get a little bit stale there. So for her pregnancy to come at the timing that it did, by the time she does come back, think about it. With Becky and with Tessa Blanchard, there's going to be that honeymoon, people. Oh, so happy to see you again. It's been such a long time. How you been? Oh, man, you look fantastic. How's life been treating you? Oh, it's going to be like a new shiny toy. There's going to be a new shiny toy. You're going to be loving it for weeks, couple of months. Then just one day, you just, kind of tired of you. But Moose has been, if there was one wrestler in Impact Wrestling that has had me, okay, you got my attention, dude. Let me see what's going on. Moose has been having my attention. Moose has always had my attention for years. Going back to the old Impact Showdown days. Long-time listeners remember that podcast. That was somebody I used to praise time and time again. Always used to say, future world champion, without a doubt. To see this storyline of him just bringing from out of nowhere, from a fucking warehouse, the old TNA World Heavyweight Championship belt. And you're going, wait a minute. I remember one of the last times that title was in play. You like thinking back to the roster back then. You're going, wait a minute, like what the fuck? And he is the self-proclaimed TNA World Heavyweight Champion. I love that. I love what he's doing with that. Having Josh Matthews interview him and really fucking going Bob Costas on his ass. Okay, but you did not win this title. You were not awarded this title. You got this title from a warehouse or wherever, and you just showed up and you have proclaimed yourself. And the way Moose just fucking spun that shit and was able to wiggle his way out of it, having the announcers call him officially the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, loving it right now. The Impact Wrestling talk about them doing their very best to make the best out of a weird situation, because they have a world champion. They have a world champion. It's fucking Tessa Blanchard. But, you know, because of everything that's going on right now, COVID, and not to mention the controversy kind of honestly, you know, didn't help either. But as you all saw with Impact and Tessa, they decided, hey, as far as we're concerned, controversy creates cash. Somebody wrote a book on that. And then, not to mention, all right, this is our 15 minutes of fame. Let's go ahead. Let's capitalize on it. You know, it's easy. Let's capitalize on it. Let's catch up on this buzz and everything. It's weird watching Impact, knowing that Tessa is not there representing and everything. It's really weird. But at the same time, it also creates this unique situation where when Tessa Blanchard does return, obviously once and for all, we're going to have to squash this whole, okay, will the real world champion please fucking step up? But yeah, it's cool. It's really cool what's been going on there with fucking Moose as the self-proclaimed fucking champion. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. Gino, I was being sarcastic with that question too, about somebody wrote a book on that. Kind of rewinded back, you see the way that I was kind of looking there. I was being sarcastic there. But yeah, it's Moose. Now see, here's the thing. We've got this number one contender tournament. You know, that's a delicate situation right there. It is, because with everything that is going on, now again, COVID-19 and everything, for me, it feels like it creates a significant problem. I don't know how many of you guys have been watching Impact these past couple of weeks and everything, but we now got two world champions. We got Tessa, who is the official Impact World Champion, having won the title from Sami Callihan at the Hard to Kill pay-per-view event back in January. And although that was just a few months ago, it feels like it's been a lot longer, but she actually won it back in January. But everything that's going on with this fucking pandemic, she was not able to appear at Revolution to defend the championship, scheduled against, I believe it was Eddie Edwards. And then you also had, I think it was a triple threat match actually, Eddie Edwards and Michael Elgin. So all of that had got fucking switched up big time. And I don't want to speculate on where Tessa lives. I could have sworn, I won't speculate because I'm under the impression she doesn't live in the States right now, but I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. But I know what's going on with the pandemic is definitely something that has been kind of having her pretty much out of the loop right now. So it's left Impact in a really bad spot where, okay, well, we got to make the best out of nothing. And with what they've been able to do with Moose as the self-proclaimed TNA World Champion, especially going into this past Tuesday's episode where, and I gotta tell you, I had the most heartiest fucking laugh that I ever had in a long time. And not because I was looking at something stupid, but because I was looking at something that I felt was entertaining on so many levels. So they open up Impact Wrestling and they show all these vignettes. They show Dixie Carter giving praise. They show the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan, giving praise. They show Ric Flair, AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Bully Ray. I mean, it was just a who's who of people all putting over Moose. And you're saying, wait a minute, I know damn well all these people are not fucking giving praise to Moose. He just fucking spliced this shit. I'm like, Impact, good job. And it fucking ends. I mean, it was a 3-minute montage or whatever. And then by the time it ends, it was literally a fucking political ad you felt you were watching, because they show a still image of Moose holding his hand up in the air. And you got Moose reading over, Moose, this has been a paid endorsement or some shit like that, and they go right into the fucking introduction. I just lost my shits at that. Main event match for this week on Impact was Moose taking on Suicide. Yeah, they brought back Suicide. They brought back Suicide from the fucking Impact Wrestling game. I gotta tell you, he had one of the most coolest fucking storylines from that video game. And shout out to you if you were able to not only play that Impact Wrestling video game, but you actually have all of the achievements or trophies from that game. For the Xbox, last I checked, I was only one of 1,000 people out there that actually have all the achievements for the Xbox version of that game, because it was the Xbox 360 version of that game, because that game was so buggy. And I remember one of the games, it had involved DLC content where you needed Mike Tenay, a couple of other people in order to get the full 1,000 gamer score points. And it was buggy as hell, and people sadly were not able to get it. I was fortunate. I did not experience the bug, and I was able to get the 1,000 gamer score points. Maybe they patched it. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but I remember back then it's like, damn, you got all them achievements? You got the full 100? Like, yeah, like, what you do? I remember I used to stay getting messages. What did you do? How did you get 100? Blah, blah, blah. Because there used to be a time where I would participate actively in the Xbox. It used to be called Xbox 360 Achievements.org. I think now it's just called XboxAchievements.org. I used to write forums. In the forums, I used to write guides on there. You could actually still find some of my guides on there, depending on the game that you're looking for. Depending on the game that you're looking for, you gotta DM me for that, because I don't want to put my gamer tag out there, because my gamer tag is actually still connected to when I would post my my reviews. Sometimes I would review games, but I would mainly write guides helping out people. I got a guide on there for the Superman game that came out. I think it was Superman Returns. I have a walkthrough / guide for that, how to get the full 1,000 gamer score points. Wasn't there something involving kittens that you had to find all across Metropolis or some shit like that, if I remember it right? And that was buggy as hell. I remember people had a hard time trying to get all the cats for that game, and I figured out a workaround, and that was helping people. And I had people left and right private messaging me, oh, thank you so much, But yeah, the TNA Impact game was fucking kick-ass for their fucking storyline with Suicide, and then for them to be able to turn that character, okay, let's make it a real thing, from the video game. And I like that they acknowledge it, from the video game, Suicide. You're like, hey, cool. And that was a good match that they had, though. It was a good match that Moose had with Suicide. Moose coming out on top. It's been really difficult watching Ken Shamrock. It is rough. It is rough watching Ken Shamrock. I bullshit you not. It makes me feel so sad watching him. It does, because it's, man. You just look at some people and you just go, man, you're better than this. And I look at Ken Shamrock and I just go, man, you're better than this. You should be in AEW, or you should be in WWE. I'm not knocking Impact in any type of way when I say that, but just, I'm coming from this perspective, which is everything that Ken Shamrock has accomplished in the MMA world. And, it kind of feels to me, and I hope I'm wrong, but it just feels to me what he's been doing with Impact is just, easy money I can make right here. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I wish that under different circumstances he could be back in the WWE, but that probably will never happen. I know Jim Ross had touched on the subject. Matter of fact, as recent as his Under the Black Hat book, which I did review a couple of months ago on Amazon and iTunes. You can check out what I had said about the book. Great fucking read from beginning to end. And Jim Ross, he documented the problems that was going on with Ken Shamrock back when he was working in WWE. And I don't really think it gets talked enough about, because I know we've had so many people over the years. Ken Shamrock, hey, he needs to be back in WWE. Now, I don't know if what Jim Ross said in the book is the entire story. I'm not saying Jim Ross is leaving something out. I think Jim Ross said what he said from when he was there and he had to deal with Shamrock, but it does still make you feel as though there's other elements at play, as far as, okay, that's probably why it's not going to happen. But from what Jim Ross documented in Under the Black Hat, Shamrock was missing dates. There was many dates where he was supposed to be at a house show, live event, whatever. No call, no show. As far as Jim Ross is concerned, that is the biggest no-no that you can do in the WWE. And so he had a few conversations, honestly, one too many, with Ken Shamrock. And there was one warning where he said, hey, look, man, sky's the limit with you. We could make some serious money with you. If you want to be a big bona fide star, you want to get everything that's coming to you, you got to do business the right way. And if you can't do business the right way, if you think that honestly, this isn't for you anymore, then we need to know that up front, and then we can try to make other arrangements, but at least the door will always be open for you to come on back. And Shamrock, okay, yeah, totally understand. Next thing you know, shit was good for a couple of weeks. Shamrock late again. And Jim Ross, he pretty much was like, we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. Did we not? And if I remember it right, I'll have to rely on you guys that read the Under the Black Hat book. If I remember it right, either Shamrock was suspended right there on the spot, or Ross had to can him right then and there, or something of that nature. But yeah, you hear that, you go, that's not good. So you can't help but wonder, well, even if it was on a part-time basis, how would Ken Shamrock of today be able to handle being on the road with WWE? Could he actually handle it? And your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. I agree with Gino. If he would have kept his shit in order, he should have been a WWE champion. I believe Jim Ross, as far as everything that he was experiencing with Shamrock, I don't believe he left anything out. But if there was some other parts at play for the main reason why, because one other thing that Ross did mention in the book, he mentioned that Shamrock was starting to get different people in his ear saying to him, well, you could be making that same amount of money, but in MMA working way less dates than WWE. So that was appealing to him more than being on the road with WWE. So I believe what Jim Ross said in the book, everything is intact, but it just really makes you feel as though there were still some other elements that's at play. But what? We could only speculate. So we just got to deal with at face value what Ross had put out there in the book and what's been documented, at least by Ross and Pritchard over the years, and just hold that at face value. But it's really been rough watching him in Impact. It's a sore eyeful, I have to tell you. It just, I fast forward through his shit. I do, because I have so much respect. It's like, that's not the Shamrock I want to remember. This Shamrock that's running around, messing around with fucking what's the guy's name? I'm drawing a blank. Joey Ryan, who's now this censored, writes the censored version of himself. You know, I don't care for that. You know, I fast forward that. What's the name of the other guy? Johnny Swinger or whatever the fuck the dude's name is. I fast forward through that. I don't care about that shit. Now, what kind of caught my eye was seeing at one point, who was it? Josh Matthews' wife, Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne does this backstage wrestling talk segment, you know, usually on the show, and she was talking with Ken Shamrock and everything. Michael Elgin crashed the fucking scene. I'm aware of what Michael Elgin had said. I'll get to that in a hot minute. Michael Elgin came in there, beat the living shit out of Ken Shamrock. And Elgin has been on this warpath because his whole thing is, if anybody has the right to proclaim himself the number one contender for a future shot at the Impact Championship, well, Michael Elgin is making that claim. So you go, okay, this is the next feud we're going into. Okay, all right, cool. This should be pretty badass. I got to show the ladies some love on Impact. Some good-ass wrestling this week for the knockouts this week on Impact. I definitely want to show some love to one of my girls, Havoc. Nice to see Havoc is still doing her thing down there. She's a lot smaller, though, than when they were filming that, though. That's the thing. I think that's about what we're seeing right now. I think it's about maybe about 3 months. So she's a lot smaller. Last I had saw, and I follow her on Twitter. So, but Kylie Ray, in case you guys had missed it, yeah, AEW's Kylie Ray. Kylie Ray has signed with Impact Wrestling a couple of months ago, and so you know she's still in the single digits when it comes to the amount of matches that she's had in Impact so far. But I mean, she fits them very well. She fits them very well. That's definitely a future Knockouts champion in the making. She could possibly have a really good long ass title reign. Could possibly be longer than Taya Valkyrie's. I'm just saying. I mean, she's that, I feel, that likable, that charismatic, definitely that good in the ring. She had a match against Tasha Steelz. They did announce, Impact Wrestling on social media, they did announce that Tasha Steelz is now signed to Impact Wrestling as well. But those two girls having a pretty damn good matchup. Also, the reason why I was bringing up Havoc earlier was because Havoc had a match against the in-ring debuting Kimber Lee. Kimber Lee is now part of Impact Wrestling. So I'm like, wow, you know, Impact Wrestling is really branching out here, and they are really, you know, trying to build on that Knockouts division. So, I mean, look at those names that I just mentioned there. You got Kylie Ray, you got Kimber Lee, you got Jessica Havoc, you got fucking my girl Tasha Steelz, you got Sue Young, you got Rosemary, Madison Rayne, whenever she decides she wants to do a little something. Gail Kim from time to time still gets a little bit of an itch. You got Jordan Grace. I mean, they are really fucking building up that fucking, and I believe Taya Valkyrie, unless I'm missing something, Taya Valkyrie, I'll have to rely on you guys, because remember, and there's no shame in my game, I was out of the loop on Impact for a hot minute there, but I said, you know what? Some people are still watching this, you know, and it's nice to give variety. There's not that much wrestling that's out there as far as new original programming goes. So, okay, where are we at right now? So, but the people that's standing out to me right now, all those names that I just mentioned from Impact, but the number one, Moose continuing to do a really good job. Falabala and all them other cats, I don't give a damn about. Sami Callihan, I'm still into his shit. I see that they brought back Crazy Steve. I'm not sure how I feel about Crazy Steve. I'm really not sure how I feel about Crazy Steve. I didn't mind Crazy Steve when he was part of, what was that stable? Decay? I think that was a stable when it was him, Abyss, Rosemary, Decay. That name kind of sounds familiar. I don't know why. If that's not their name, shame on me, because I look at them and the first thing that comes to my mind is Decay. If that was not the name of their stable, that'd be a cool ass name for some gothic type of fucking group or whatever. But Impact, they did a really good job with the episode that they put out there this week. I want to take this time out and I want to thank some of our Patreon members. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Remember, you guys can check out bonus audio and video content, great majority of which you won't be able to find anywhere else. Patreon.com/RCWR show. 5 smackaroos gets you everything. Shout out to returning Patreon member Justin Ripstock. Shout out to Sean Kenter. Also shout out to John Krauser. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to John Davis. Special shout out to Tony Bing Gaming. You want the very latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and Marvel Super War. All things Marvel related, tips, news, tricks, reviews. Tony Bing Gaming. Awesome YouTube channel. And he's got a cool Patreon paywall as well. Check him out. Speaking of Patreon, me and the missus, we are going to be reviewing, say, Patreon exclusive this weekend. We're going to be reviewing Michael Jordan's The Last Dance. This is it. This is the final Sunday. The Last Dance, episodes 9 and 10. This is it. So we are going to be on Patreon talking about the entire miniseries, docuseries overall. Definitely talk about 9 and 10. So check that out. That's going to be some good shit. I promise you. Damn good shit. So we were talking about Michael Elgin, kind of teasing it there earlier. So he was pretty busy on Twitter Wednesday night. And he declared that there's a part of wrestling that he doesn't like anymore. I'll read to you what he had said. He said, and I quote, "I legit don't like wrestling anymore. Everyone is so soft. Everyone lets outsiders or fans dictate how we should be. I'm just staying off here. So-called wrestlers have turned to nothing but a mockery of how people in wrestling should be. I don't like hating my profession. I enjoy interacting with the fans, but the wrestlers, not all of them, are just lame. You can interact with fans and still be a goddamn pro. Unfortunately, that's lost." And he, to his credit, anybody that was giving him shit, he was cool in responding right back. He wasn't doing like some people, muted, blocked, muted, blocked. If he was muting and blocking people, it was probably only in a case where somebody was just, "You bald head midget." You know, it's like, why do you want to respond to that? Yeah, that does warrant a mute or block. But he was going back and forth with people that were bringing up points, not agreeing with him and everything. He did follow up on that, at least to one person's tweet in particular. "Oh, that hurt your feelings? This is why people are so soft. When I was fat and somebody body shamed me, I got my ass in the gym and ate right. But when a wrestler can antagonize another wrestler without a third wrestler bitching, wrestling sucks." So, I mean, it's just some of the shit that he was going back and forth with people about. And I get to a degree, you can see a lot more of his exchanges with people on his own timeline. Michael Elgin 25 on Twitter. Michael Elgin 25 on Twitter. And you can just read it for yourself. I mean, he had a busy night. He was just going all night long interacting with people. I get where he's coming from. I do, because, and when I say I get where he's coming from, I get that it's kind of like what Jim Cornette had said. And I'm most curious with Jim Cornette, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be talking about it this week. I'm very curious what Cornette and Laz has to say about this, because I know Cornette has always been so old school to the point, hey, protect the business at all costs. We need to go back to protecting the business again. And I know that he's been vocal in the past about how social media, you know, a lot of wrestlers, they're now living their lives out on social media. You know, you want to know any and everything about the business, you know, with social media. And this whole thing was, just imagine if social media was around back in the 90s, 80s, 70s. Whew, you know, forget about it. But I see where Michael Elgin is coming from. First off, I appreciate him being brutally honest and realizing, okay, what I'm going to say here, it may not be popular. It may actually ruffle the feathers of some of my colleagues that are in this same industry as I am. I don't give a fuck. This is what I'm noticing. And I really wish the shit would stop, because it's this part of wrestling that I just don't like. And I get that, because come on, we've seen wrestlers engulfed in this storyline. I mean, one of the most iconic storylines that comes into my mind off the break was when the Bella twins were going at it. I shouldn't say iconic. It was iconic because how moronic it ended up becoming on social media. So forgive me if I used the word iconic there. But I remember they had that whole storyline that was going on, and Nikki was saying to Brie, "You should have died in the womb." And you're like, oh man, that's some deep, rotten fucking shit. How the hell could you say that to your own twin fucking sister? Jesus fucking Christ. And then less than 18 hours later, after that episode aired, you know, they're out in LA or whatever. They're at some restaurant. They're eating together, smiling, posing for fucking cameras, taking selfies with fans and all that shit. And you're like, come on, man. Really? Really? You can't fucking stay in storyline? Really? You know, and it's not about, you know, and I don't want people, look, we know that wrestling is predetermined. We know that. There's nothing fake about what those men and women do in the ring. Yeah, the winners and all that is predetermined, but the athleticism that they put into that ring every single day, you know, injuries do happen. And it happens quite frequently. You know, you definitely need to be training, get your cardio, you know, all that shit. But, you know, even at that, accidents can and will happen. But when I saw that shit go down with the Bellas, I fucking cringed. So, to Michael Elgin's point, I can see, just by bringing up that instance where, okay, to what he's talking about, yeah, shit like that. And then, not for nothing, but a lot of times, and this is the God's honest truth, a lot of times you'll see some wrestling promotions, and WWE has been very guilty of this in the past. Okay, we're gonna do this. And there is such a uproar on social media. Okay, well, we gotta give the fans what they want. We gotta give the fans what they want. And to Michael Elgin's point, it's something that myself, Tams, have talked about on the show many times, that doesn't just relate to wrestling, but really relates to society as a whole. We are in the instant gratification era. This is what it's about now. This is about the give me what I want, when I want it, which is now. I don't want to hear anything else. Gimme, 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 gimme. I don't want to hear no fuss. I don't want to hear why I can't get it right now. Fuck you. Give it to me right now. Gimme, gimme, gimme. You know, greatest examples of that, aside from the shit that I mentioned with the Bellas, I still remember when the fucking Glenn character from Walking Dead was killed off. And I remember, I'm not talking about the legit time. I'm talking about before when appeared, he was dead. And you had people that were just, oh my God, to be a Walking Dead fan back then and the pandemonium that just, oh, oh, he can't be dead. Oh, oh. People boycotting watching The Walking Dead, demanding that the producers and the showrunner give a clear, definitive statement as far as whether or not the Glenn character was actually dead or not. They demanded, and it was so weird back then seeing all of that going on. And I remember I was just laughing my ass off looking at this shit. And I'm going, man, how the fuck would you guys had survived back in the, early 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, when some of the hit shows that were on at the time ended in cliffhangers and you were just biting your nails going, well, that's it until the summer. Hope to find out what happened then. It was worth the wait. It was usually worth the wait. And what happened? The showrunner, the producers, they fucking caved in, and they basically were saying, "Oh, people don't worry. You'll still see the Glenn Reed character. Maybe you'll see him in flashbacks. Maybe what you were watching just then, maybe that was some type of a flashback. Did he really? I mean, they damn right fucking just came right out and said everything's gonna be okay. Just wait till the episodes come back with new episodes. You'll see what happened after the hiatus. Just watch. So yeah, we are in this instant gratification fucking era. The fans feel that, and look, we as fans, there's a lot of us fans, we come up with all kinds of really cool ideas. This should happen. This would be a great idea. We come up with really great ideas. But sadly, here's where it gets a little tricky. You got some of us that have these really great ideas, and then you have some of us that can only think about the short term. This would be good right now. And that's the majority of fans. But then you have the fans like myself. Okay, well, what'll work for the next 90 days? What'll work for the next 60 days? What'll work for the next 90 days? What'll work for the next 6 months? What'll work for the next year? Okay, how many significant pay-per-views, milestone pay-per-views are you doing this year? Okay, and all eyes are going to be on which ones? Okay, well, how are you going to bridge that gap from there to this event then? The grander scheme of things. And sometimes, we could be here. That's why I always say, we could be here till we're blue in the face. You ever hear me say that on the show many times? I usually say, we could be here till we're blue in the face, coming up with all kinds of ideas, and understand something. We are not in charge of booking these shows. Would we like to see some really cool things happen with some of the shows that we're watching, with some of the wrestlers? Yeah, and I'm sure that when some of your favorite wrestlers see and hear of the shit that's being said on social media, oh man, this guy's not really getting that well-deserved push. It's bullshit what's going on with him. He deserves so much better, and that wrestler likes or retweets or whatever, even though they're not saying publicly they agree with you, just that little endorsement that they did, just letting you know, hey, they hear you and everything. But when it's all said and done, what we fail to realize is that a lot of these wrestlers, depending on the promotion, either they're given the leeway that they are given so that they can do XYZ, or it's a case where they're working with creative, the writers, whatever, and it is what it is, or they have no say and they're being told as directed. There's so many equations that go into the matter. I see where Michael Elgin is coming from those standpoints that I just mentioned. I applaud him for standing his ground, knowing that he's going to ruffle the feathers of some of his colleagues, but staying firm. Then, not to mention, it also kind of fits with the current character incarnation that he has going on right now in Impact. And I gotta tell you, he played that fiddle so beautifully. I gotta tell you, hook, line, and sinker. People are taking the bait. And yeah, that's the other thing y'all gotta realize sometimes when, you know what, I think I may be biting into something here that's bait. I may be getting myself into something here where this wrestler may be trying to get themselves over on social media here, and I don't really know if I really want to be. There is no politically correct answer to what he put out there. I mean, when you just look at what he said for face value, I could bring up as many points to back up what he's saying. And then if I were to be devil's advocate and say, okay, well, he said what he said. That's how he feels. That's his social media account. He has every right to go on his social media account, put out there what he wants to put out there. At the same time, though, he's also got to realize that some of the people that he's working with in said promotion, or will be working with in said promotions, may try to pull him to the side and say, brother, I didn't really appreciate those comments that you put out there, blah, 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 blah. What's the 4-on-1? What you really mean about that? What's the scoop? Because you and me need to be doing some business in the ring, and I need to know exactly what's going on, because, that was a straight up shoot. That's how you really feel. I'm not really sure if I want to be doing business with you. So what's going on? Social media is so toxic these days. That's why I really try to do my best to not really engage in back and forth like that. I try to let it be about whatever content and keep it rolling along. I don't mind, little interactions here and there. And there's people, they know who they are. They like the Seans, the Justins, the Krausers. There's people that know that they're fucking cool in my book, and I can pretty much go 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes just going back and forth talking with them. But social media is so toxic. That's the one thing that I do not like about social media in this new millennium, is that social media has made a opinionist out of everyone. Now all of a sudden everyone is a authority figure. They are of authority, and they feel that because they're able to put out this tweet, or they're able to put out this post, or that it carries weight. And not to mention, the other thing that I don't like about social media is, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a phone, desktop computer, you can pretty much inject yourself into somebody's life or profession anytime, day or night. No matter where you are, home, work, school, bus, train, plane, anywhere. And just, there's a lot of ugliness to social media. I gotta say, there's a lot of ugliness to it. And a lot of times it brings out the worst in people. Anytime you've got the creator of the World Wide Web saying, this is not how I intended for the internet to be, and it just feels that it's going to get even worse from here, should pay attention to that. That carries a lot of fucking weight as far as I'm concerned. AEW Dark, quick results here. Colt Cabana defeated Sean Dean. Jurassic Express defeated Mike Reed and Ryan Rembrandt. Private Party defeated Lee Johnson and Musa. 10 defeated John Cruz. Phoenix defeated Alan Angels. Chris Statlander defeated Danny Jordan. Orange Cassidy defeated Jason Cade. Dr. Britt Baker defeated Skylar Moore, and in a no DQ match, Jimmy Havoc defeated Dr. Luther. Those were your matches that came about from AEW Dark. To Dynamite for this week, they put out a pretty damn good episode. By the way, I saw the Dynamite NXT numbers already, so rather than do the guessing game here, can't do it this week. I'm not surprised that AEW beat NXT again. Once again, another case right here where I honestly felt that AEW had the better product here. Quick notes here. Best Friends defeated Jurassic Express. That actually was a pretty damn good tag match. Sheeta defeating Penelope Ford, Dr. Britt Baker, and Chris Statlander. Fatal 4-way match. So as a result of that, Sheeta now moves to the Double or Nothing pay-per-view that is still going to be happening, if I'm not mistaken, on May 23rd. I believe that's, is that a Sunday? Let me look at the calendar real quick here. May 23rd is a Saturday. On Saturday, May 23rd, she moves on to face Nyla Rose for the AEW Women's Championship. As that gets a little closer, we'll go into preview and predictions for sure. Also, we found out at AEW Double or Nothing, Mike Tyson is going to be at the pay-per-view event. He is going to be presenting the new AEW TNT Championship to the winner of that match between Cody and Lance Armstrong. Well, I said Lance Armstrong. That would be funny. Lance Armstrong. What's Lance Armstrong doing in the AEW Dynamite Zone? It was like Lance Archer. I apologize. At least I got the A in there right, but it'd be funny if it was Lance Armstrong. What's Lance Armstrong doing on that bicycle? Riding his way down the ramp there. What's he doing here, Shivani? I don't know. But this is going to get very interesting, JR. Let's go to the action. Or lack of. With no Lance Archer and Cody. Look, that's fucking awesome. That's great news to hear that Mike Tyson, I mean, man, 53 years of age. He's training to be doing charitable exhibition fights and all that. Some of the clips that's out there, dude still got the fucking speed. He still has the fucking speed. This guy hasn't boxed since, what was it, 2009? And he is still lightning fast at 53. Man, he's looking good. He is looking good, and he is white hot right now. I saw some people that were commenting, Mike Tyson, man, he ain't doing shit, man. Fuck Mike Tyson, man. He ain't relevant. He a fucking dinosaur. And it's like, shows what you know. Shows what you know. Between the amount of followers that he has on social media, and I'm not sure how many of you guys were aware of this, Mike Tyson has been doing a podcast for a hot minute now. And the way he's got the podcast set up, not only can you get the audio version of it, but you also get to see the webcast video version of it. And it's him and his co-host, mainly Mike, is kicking back, smoking weed. He just don't give a fuck. Some of the guests that he has on there, they're fucking doing weed as well. But Mike is just rolling up them fatties left and right throughout the whole fucking show. And I tell you, I watched a couple of episodes, and I bullshit you not. I bullshit you not. You know, you'd think I would be able to go in there and, you know, I gotta tell you, what I was expecting at first was,
Yeah, so welcome to my podcast. Yeah. So, we got a guest. We got a cool ass fucking guest for you here today. And, the guest, we don't need no introduction, but, he's the greatest football player of the time. And, his name's, you know him from, say, when he was playing with the Patriots, now he's playing with the, he's playing, fuck, I don't even know the team he's playing for, man. But pardon me a second. Yeah, so, he cool as shit, man. He was like mini Super Bowl. He got like a lot of ring on his fingers and shit, man. His name Tom Brady, man. Yeah, Tom, welcome to the show, man. How you doing? Gee Willie, I'm doing pretty good, Mike. It's great being here. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so, you do a lot of balls in your time, huh? You do a lot of balls. Yeah, I've thrown a lot of balls. Yeah, you do a lot of balls, man. Tell you, man, like, I've been watching you, man. You what you do is pretty fucking good, man. Yeah, you throw some really good balls, man. Tell you what, so, yeah, so you left New England and now you're playing for the Bucks, how the moving go? Yeah, they got good food down there in Tampa Bay, cause I always think that the food down there in Tampa Bay compared to New England, it's like in change. No, food's still pretty good. You can find a lot of really cool, yummy things in Tampa and seafood and all, Florida and everything. A lot of good food that's down there, although I do miss some personal favorites from the New England area, but no, I've been able to adjust pretty good since I've been down there. Well, cool, man. It's fucking cool. Yeah, so, you won a lot of Super Bowls. Yeah, I bet that was cool. You had fun? Like, I was going into a Mike Tyson podcast thinking that pretty much was what we were going to get. Out of 100%, maybe that was about 10% of what I had got. But no, it was okay. Wow. It's actually pretty damn good as a podcaster. He's racking in. Look at the YouTube views. He's racking in the fucking views, man. So, no, he is a hot commodity right now. Everybody fucking wants them a piece of Mike Tyson. I think the bigger question right now, though, that has a lot of people wondering is what is going on with Sting? Sting apparently, take it with a grain of salt, but apparently, with regards to Sting, he may no longer be under contract with WWE. Pro Wrestling Sheet, they were the first to break this out. They were saying that according to their sources, he is not under a WWE contract, but it doesn't mean that the two sides won't work out a possible merchandising deal or maybe even a new Legends deal going forward. But apparently, really the people that were on top of this was a podcast that was explaining the news about the withdrawal of Sting from the Mattel toy line. And then upon further review, a statement actually came from Mattel saying that due to circumstances out of their control, Sting needed to be removed from the Legends Series 7, and that they're looking to include this figure in a future wave if he becomes available to them again. And of course, adding even more flames to that, you got Cody, who tweeted this, and he does the freaking, I hear you. So that kind of, okay, so is it possible that Sting may do something with AEW there? What's going on? Remember, Sting joined WWE in 2014. Decades being that last guy to hold out and everything. We saw how everything had panned out. Eventually, Survivor Series, setting up the Mania match with Triple H at WrestleMania 31. Then, Hall of Fame in 2016. He's pretty much retiring from in-ring competition. And, if you were to ask me straight up, I'm going to give it to you raw. No pun intended. Greatly disappointed in the fact that WWE did not properly utilize Sting when they had him under contract. And what I mean by that is, from a merchandising standpoint, some of the stuff that I saw, no issues there. From a booking standpoint, look, and you guys heard it as recent as the Sting Q&A panel from a couple of years ago at AwesomeCon that I was able to participate in. You go on the Facebook and the Twitter pages too, you can actually see my photos that I had with Sting. It's pretty badass too. Awesome meeting the guy. But you know, he's pretty much, yeah, hey, should he have won that match? You know, probably. But like he says, as I mentioned from the time to time, a lot of people fail to mention the fact that look at all of those cool moments that happened with NWO, DX in there, and you know, Monday Night War kind of memories there, kind of coming back to fruition there. You know, the moments, magical moments, the little things that most people sadly don't talk about when they look at that match. Yeah, we could home in on that match, or maybe we could home in on that match against Seth Rollins. You know, maybe we could go there as well. But where I'd like to go with this, WWE in my eyes, where they dropped the ball tremendously on Sting. They dropped the ball tremendously on him from a WWE Network perspective. Here you have the icon Sting. And if there was ever a time where you could do original programming with Sting, if there was ever a time where, okay, you know what? We got this Monday Night War limited series on the network. How about we do a 2.0 version? And, you know, now we can include some new interviews with Sting, get him to reminisce about blah, 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 blah. You know, hey, how badass would that be? If there was ever a fucking time to do something as far as a table for three, a WCW edition, get the guys that were there with WCW for the longest time. Just picture this. Just close your eyes. Picture this for a second. A table for three. You could either go with Booker T, Eric Bischoff, Sting. Or you could go with Sting, Booker T, Ric Flair. Oh. Now, if one of those has already happened, I obviously got to hop on the network and check that out. But shit that you could have done with Sting, just as far as original programming goes. The amount of shit that you could have done. You could have easily, and I'm surprised WWE isn't really doing this yet. Now, I got to commend, what was it, FS1? I think it was on Tuesday. They did a encore of WrestleMania 3. And I liked how they had Renee Young in the gang. They were offering thoughts throughout the event. I thought that was kind of cool, because the one gripe that I kind of had with regards to that encore was, well, what's to stop fans from hopping on the WWE Network and just watching it in its entirety instead of watching it on TV and they got to deal with commercials? I don't quite understand the logic in that. And to try to entice you a little bit, they did have Renee and the gang offering little thoughts on some of the stuff that they were seeing and all that. But why not take it a step further? Why not have a case where, hey, optional commentating? For the duration that a lot of these WWE pay-per-view events are going to be streaming on Fox, or they're going to be streaming on ESPN, or they're going to be streaming on FS1, why not have some exclusive new audio commentating that's available? Make it a unique experience for people that's checking it out on those cable, satellite, regular network channels versus the WWE Network. Going back to the WWE Network, if there was ever a time where you could have done some type of a compilation of Sting offering audio commentating on some of his favorite matches for the network, just exclusively for the network. You could do shit like that. You know, with everybody, you know, they've missed out, but with Sting, there was so much that they could have done with him, especially from a WWE network content standpoint. It's not even funny. How do you not, now, maybe it's already in the books, I doubt it. How do you not do a Broken Skull Sessions with Sting? How do you not do that? There wasn't a Stone Cold podcast when it was on the network. There was nothing with Sting. So how do you not do a Broken Skull Sessions with the icon Sting? So that's what I mean when I say there's a lot that they should have been doing with him. They dropped the ball. And look, if they're able to do something with him, AEW that is, if they're able to do something with the man, God bless him. I don't need to see him wrestle. He's left us with a great body of work. So we're good with that. And to Double A in the chat about a Sting documentary, well, you've got, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Sting Into the Light, which had came out on DVD and all that. I believe that's now on the network. And then also there is a updated documentary that's essentially a companion piece to the Sting Into the Light. I don't know if it's called Sting WWE 24 or Sting Chronicle, but there is something new of a documentary of Sting that's on the network. So dig around in there and peep that out when you get a chance. But yeah, they missed a lot. But as far as watching Sting wrestle again, I'm good. What is he now? 63, 64? I'm good. He left us with such a great body of work. I'm honestly good. I actually had hit up my man Rob Feinstein the other day, and I said, because he was selling some stuff. I think it's here now. I got a greatest hits TNA match compilation of Jeff Jarrett, 4-disc set. Heard a lot of people say that was actually pretty damn good. And then I've got the Kurt Angle joint, and I'm pretty sure there was a Sting one. I actually got an AJ Styles one too that I'll be unwrapping pretty soon and checking that out. But there's also, I know there's a Sting one that TNA did. I'm just trying to, okay, what's like the ultimate one to get from his TNA days? That's the one I want. So I may hit up my man Rob and see if he's got something on fucking Sting from TNA that I can check out. But look, you know, if AEW is able to do something with the man, that would be fucking great. That would be fucking great. You know, what they can do with him, you know, your guess is as good as mine. You know, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I am so content right now, and I'm mainly content from watching the Sting Into the Light documentary. I'm just so content because I know he's at a place right now where he's at peace. He's extremely happy, and anything that he's willing to do at this point for promotion, he's trying to do his best to pay it forward and give back, and I'm okay with that. But I know this is the talk right now. Let's see what happens first. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Sting does make an appearance at AEW and go from there. But if you ask me, my personal opinion, would I like to see him in AEW? I'm good. I'm honestly good. I mean, because he can't wrestle. He's 63 going on 64. No, he cannot wrestle. So what else are we supposed to see with the icon? Are we supposed to see him in some type of a TV role? Are we supposed to kind of see him in that Hogan GM role or something like that? That Dixie Carter role? Is that what we're... I don't want to see him in that. I definitely don't want to see him in that. So I'm good. I'm fucking good. Now, Jake Roberts cutting the promo he cut this week. I ate that shit up big time. I love that. I can't believe fans were legit triggered over that snake that he put on fucking Brandy. We addressed that last week. He knowing where he's got his finger on the pulse with the fans and how they felt about what they watched last week. Racial overtone and all this other bullshit. Talking about a woman's place is at home, cooking, cleaning, and on those nights when a man is cold, do her very best to keep him warm. Oh, I'm sure he really pushed the fucking envelope on this past week's fucking Dynamite there with fans with those statements that he made. But another classic fucking promo by Jake Roberts. Fucking Cody coming out in his fucking monster truck. I laughed my ass off at that shit. Yeah, how are we gonna have Cody in a monster truck and he's dressed in his fucking suit and tie and shit? I'd have preferred it if we just saw Cody just have him half naked, maybe wearing a jean vest or whatever. Just why couldn't he? Why he got to be pretty much in a suit and tie, pushing a monster truck? That was just silly on so many levels. I'm a stickler for detail, but that was just silly on so many levels. I didn't care for that, but I love seeing him and my man Archer kind of brawling here and there for a little bit. I'm actually looking forward to their matchup. That should be a pretty good matchup. Also on Dynamite this week, Matt Hardy, Kenny Omega. They defeated Santina and Ortiz. That actually, for me, a lot of matches on the card for that night. Aside from Best Friends taking on Jurassic Express, Hardy and Omega taking on Ortiz and Santana. That actually was pretty damn good. MJF had saw in-ring action return. Squash match, though. Pretty much beat up a guy by the name of Lee Johnson. About 2 minutes and change. Chris Jericho annihilated the hell out of Pineapple Pete. The Exalted One, Brody Lee, defeated Christopher Daniels. Man, that was rough to watch. That was rough to watch. I know some people really had enjoyed that matchup. For me, that was pretty rough to watch. I'm a huge Christopher Daniels fan. I'm a huge fan of his. But it seems as though Father Time has slowly but surely been working its way to Daniels. I can look past the fact that Daniels is a little more heavier than he was in the previous years. It happens to the best of us. It does, right? No shame in that. Timing's a bit off, moving a bit slower, not quite the agile man that I've come to know and love over the years, but it was pretty rough to watch. It wasn't a bad match, but it was pretty rough to watch. I must admit that. I'm trying to think if anything else I want to talk about with regards to Dynamite for this week. Brody Lee still having the AEW championship hostage. Love that shit. And next week on Dynamite, Moxley is supposed to be facing 10. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the championship back by then, but Brody Lee's already walking around calling himself the AEW World Champion. But next week, Phoenix is going to be taking on Orange Cassidy. That's pretty much a result of Phoenix doing a pretty ass fucking Mortal Kombat Liu Kang super kick to the face of Orange Cassidy. So instant Acme feud, boom. Orange Cassidy taking on Rey Fenix next week. MJF will be taking on Marco Stunt. Arn Anderson and Jake Roberts will be having a one-on-one interview. Matt Hardy will be taking on Sammy Guevara. And as I just told you, Moxley will be taking on 10. So should be a pretty good Dynamite coming up next week. Looking forward to it. But they did a pretty good job with Dynamite this week. Meanwhile, over on NXT, nothing really new. Nothing really too exciting came about. First of all, I got to give mad kudos to WWE for using Jim Johnson's Armageddon, The End Is Near theme for the Killer Cross spot. That was fucking badass. Love that. For the longest time, I used to think that the person singing the hook to that was Bono, because especially from back then, because anybody that knows, Bono from U2, he has such great fucking range, falsetto, great falsetto voice, and when you hear that yeah, it kind of sounds a little like Bono if you know the U2 catalog. I mean, the more and more you listen to it, you're like, nah, that's not Bono. But that hook part, it does sound like Bono. But I like the fact that they dug that up. That's not the first time that they dug that up. You know, they've gone to that song a few times over the years. It's been rare, but I like the fact that they went with a Jim Johnson classic there. That's good shit. He was not in action this week, but, you know, hey, you know he's not too far away. Also, we got new NXT Tag Champions in Imperium. Imperium's, get these names right here. Shit, I just got Imperium in my notes. So, Fabian Aichner, I can't think of the other guy's name. But they defeated the New Bros. They defeated Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle to become the new NXT Tag Champions. A little bit of a miscommunication. Closing moments of that matchup there. Matt Riddle, I think he was trying to do some type of monkey flip. He did some type of a flip. I forgot who he had, but that opponent's legs smacked Timothy Thatcher right in the face, sent him off the apron. He was pretty pissed off and all that. Move along, a couple of minutes later, Riddle's looking for the hot tag. Thatcher's still pretty pissed off about that shit that went down. And honestly, a culmination, and you kind of saw it in the weeks leading up to this. You kind of saw that Timothy Thatcher's kind of looking at Matt Riddle like, whatever, dude, let's just go. Let's just fucking fight already. Come on. He's all about the business. But at that point, he pretty much had enough of Matt Riddle, the Bros, the whole fucking spill. So he pretty much left Riddle high and dry. Imperium able to capitalize, becoming the new tag champions. Riddle catches up with Thatcher backstage, and pandemonium just breaks out. They start brawling. That shit was nice. That pretty much had led to Matt Riddle talking with William Regal via his tablet, getting a one-on-one match against Thatcher. That was actually our main event match of the evening. That was a great grappling fucking match. I gotta tell you, love that fucking match. Loved it so much. They started it off strong, and I felt that they were able to continue on with that momentum going into the end of NXT for the night. It was a damn good match. Damn good grappling. Really grounded type of match. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Made me proud. I enjoyed them. I would love to see these guys continue on with their feud, and by the looks of things, it doesn't sound like it's over just yet, because Matt Riddle was able to pull in a surprising upset victory over Thatcher, doing a little bit of a roll up there. Thatcher being a poor sport afterwards, coming in there, attacking Riddle from behind, applying a armbar on him. And I just loved how NXT closes out with Thatcher just cheesing at the camera while he's just torquing the hell out of that left arm of Riddle. So yeah, looks of things, no shit, these guys aren't done, not by a long shot. But them locking it up that first go round on this week's NXT ate that shit up. If you'd have told me in 2020, and I see a lot of fans actually had liked that match too. If you'd have told me in 2020 that match would really go over well with fans, I would say, wow, I'm impressed, because used to be a time where a lot of the matches was almost pretty much like that, and that was your pure fucking entertainment for the evening. Not really any storylines or anything else that was going on in there. Interim NXT Cruiserweight Championship Tournament, Jack Gallagher defeated Isaiah Scott. Also, Jake Atlas took on... Let's see here, hang on a second. Jake Atlas took on Tony Nese. If I remember right, I think Jake Atlas defeated Tony Nese here. I didn't write down who defeated who. I just got down this person faced that person. Also, Caden Carter lost to Aaliyah. Aaliyah was almost kind of getting a little bit of help there from Roderick Strong. Was it? No, Robert Stone. I wish it was Roderick Strong. No, Robert Stone brand. Because remember what had went down last week and everything. So it was almost kind of as if he was trying to return the nod, but it backfired because in storyline, Aaliyah was so distracted with trying to make a good first impression with the Stone brand. And it backfired. Caden picking up the W. I see some other matches on here. Cameron Grimes defeated Finn Balor. Had a little bit of help from Damian Priest. So now Damian Priest has his eyes set on Finn Balor. His whole thing is, if I can't take out a king, why not a prince? So boom. So that should be a good feud. I'm actually looking forward to that one. Tegan Nox defeated Indy Hartwell. That Indy Hartwell is a looker. I gotta give her some props, man. She's a damn good looker. Love her smile, nice physique, like the attire. She's pretty badass. I gotta say, first impressions, I'm pretty impressed with her. I love hearing her racial background too. I believe I heard Italian mixed with something else, but she's from Australia. I'm like, well, that's an interesting, exotic combination. I love that. I fucking love that. NXT pretty good. Pretty good this week. Honestly, I could do without the tournaments. I could fucking do without the fucking tournaments. AEW though was definitely the better show this week. I gotta be honest. It was definitely the better show this week. More entertaining. I tell you what they've been doing the past month. I'm also factoring in May, but I'm looking at last month as well. Last month, this month, AEW has been putting in some of their best fucking content under the circumstances. And all I gotta say to that is keep it up. Just fucking keep it up. You know, we were talking about Mike Tyson earlier with AEW. Apparently, Kurt Bauer of MLW, he had talked about wanting to promote a wrestling match that involved Mike Tyson and that the proceeds would go to charity. And it appears that there's a lot more to this, as PW Insiders reporting that MLW has actually had at least one conversation with Tyson's management team about possibly doing something together in the future. So whether or not it's going to come to fruition, we'll have to wait and see. But on a more interesting note, low key on social media, he's been pushing to face Tyson. Yeah. Our boy Low Key, he's the one pushing to face Mike Tyson. So he needs to put on some bulk if he's going to try to do this, because honestly, the one person that... What about King Mo? Because when you look at King Mo and Low Key, very similar, but Tyson and Low Key might be very one-sided. Very one-sided. I need for Low Key, if he's really serious about this, he's going to have to put on some bulk. And then, what's his height? Because he seems so short. You know, what's his height? For me, it seems that King Mo, tiny bit shorter than Tyson, but definitely taller than Low Key. You know, I would say, you know, kind of go more in that direction. But this kind of goes back to what I was telling you guys earlier there. You know, everybody wants them a piece of Mike Tyson. I wouldn't be surprised if Vince McMahon and crew maybe once again try to do a little something with fucking Tyson. You just don't know. Might happen. Also, got some NWA news for you guys. Next Tuesday, a new series is going to be debuting. It's called Carneyland. That's going to be premiering next Tuesday at 6:05 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be occupying the NWA Power time slot. So be sure to check that out. It's a new show. It's called Carneyland. I'm actually going to watch it, so I'll let you guys know what I think about that. Also, Leo Rush is selling some of his old in-ring gear online. He said that he's selling several items that he considers them to be wrestling memorabilia and everything. And yeah, he's fucking selling them. He's got his Leo Rush jacket and some other stuff. If you guys are interested, go check him out on Twitter at It's Leo Rush. And he's got his email contact info for you guys if you are interested in checking out some of his memorabilia that's up for grabs. Now, I don't know if the money is maybe going towards a worthy cause. Your guess is as good as mine if it is going to be happening. One thing while we're talking about money going to a worthy cause and everything, one thing I do want to bring to y'all's attention. Remember how I told you guys last week what was going on with WWE and how they had those masks and 100% proceeds? Remember that? Well, something new that I want to bring to your attention is apparently WWE, you can go see this for yourself. They are doing an auction for a signed WWE Heavyweight Championship belt that has all the champions that participated in this year's WrestleMania. Every single one of them signed this belt. And basically, whatever money you want to contribute, it's going to help COVID. It's going to help in the effort of COVID relief, basically. It's helping out the workers and everything. But it looks like the way that they got this set up is you're entering a raffle. And it's essentially, okay, how much money can we raise? And randomly, somebody is going to win this title. So it's pretty fucking cool. So you can go in there and maybe you only want to do $10. Or maybe you want to do 50, or maybe you want to do 100, whatever the case may be. WWE is raising this money for a really cool, worthy cause. It's all about helping out with the COVID relief effort and everything. And it's ongoing right now. I don't have in front of me when it's supposed to end. And I actually wish that WWE was doing a better job, not only promoting this on social media, but I wish WWE was taking the time to promote this more on all of their social media platforms. And let me just pause one quick and let me get a test check from you guys, because I'm trying to load up Twitter here as I'm speaking, and for some respected reason I cannot get Twitter to load up for me. So I'm wondering if you guys are still with me live right now. And if you guys can maybe say something in the chat, that would kind of help. But I have everything is frozen right now. I'm actually on my tablet and it looks like everything is still active. Everything is still going and everything. I'm just having a hard time opening up my web browser here. So that lets me know that I got something weird going on, because I'm also seeing that there is a couple of skipped frame rates. So I'm not sure if you guys are also noticing some skip frames going on as well. But we're actually almost done with Showtime, because there's honestly not much else I really want to get into on the show this week. We went about almost 2 hours and looks like almost 20 minutes here. So I think if anything, I'll leave you guys with this. Set your DVRs if you're not going to be able to watch it live in real time. But Charlotte Flair is going to be on this Friday's SmackDown. So peep that out. That should be good. These shows, they need all the help they can get right now. They do. They need all the help that they can get right now, especially now that there's no Becky Lynch that's in the mix of things. Let me leave you guys with this note too. I did watch the Michael Jordan joint from this past weekend. If you guys watched it, I'm right there with you guys. I was in shock. I was in awe over really episode 7. That really stood out to me the most. If the documentary would have just ended right there with 7, I would have been satisfied, because for Jordan to really address how everybody was saying, yeah, he was bullying, yeah, he could be a dick, yeah, he could, to just see that all of that eventually took its toll on him. And he basically said, hey, the only thing I was trying to do was just bring out the best in the people that were playing with me. And, if you ain't like that, you know how to play with me. You know, there was a method to his actions. And what he was doing, I know a lot of people were looking at it and they were looking at it as a form of bullying. He was really looking at it as, I'm going to take your weakness, and whatever that weakness is, I'm going to do my very best to not just expose it, but I'm going to do my very best to fine tune it. I'm going to make you come out even better. I'm going to make you face your greatest fear, and I'm going to help you triumph over it, so that when it comes time to produce, and it's all about winning, we're going to be able to do this. You know, it was just about trying to help people rise to the occasion. And man, I tell you, you know, it was quite sad seeing what came about from that episode where, you know, a lot of sportscasters, you know, shows just, you know, Jordan was bullying and all this other shit. And I didn't look at it as that type of form whatsoever. And just to see the man break down, he was starting to kind of get teary up about it and everything, and just say break. You know, it could have ended right there. And like he said, he doesn't need to do this docuseries, but you know, he's doing it to basically give people insight into, okay, this was the formula that I used. This is how I got things done. You know, this is how I did it. You know, this is what's the secret. This is what I fucking did. This is why I did it. There was a reasoning behind everything. And it just made me come away respecting the hell out of the guy even more. And Gino, with regards to the dark side of the ring on the Road Warriors, anytime I talk about dark side of the ring and all that, that's actually part of Patreon. That's actually part of that. Because, I mean, my God, I mean, because just stop and think for a second. If I were to talk about, like, every single thing that came on during the week, the show would definitely go past 2 hours and 30 minutes. And that just wouldn't be fair to you guys. I mean, I love you guys, and I'm always happy when you guys have a good time and you appreciate the show, and you could pretty much stick with the show from beginning to end and everything. But I do try to be time conscious about, okay, you know, what we doing here, you know. But I did actually check out Dark Side of the Ring, and what I actually wanted to do was actually talk about the joint with the Road Warriors. Definitely talk about the joint with Owen. I'm going to talk about those for Patreon. I actually got the one for Road Warriors. That's already been recorded. I just got to sit down, edit it, and upload it. But I've watched all the episodes of Dark Side of the Ring for this season. I've watched them all so far. They've done a superb job. Better than the first season, I personally feel. They complimented the first season, but they took it a step even further, I personally feel. So, but yeah, I can't stress it enough. You guys, if things are good with you all financially, because I'll be the first to tell you, your family is first. Your family and yourself, as far as health and well-being goes, that is a priority. If you find yourself to be in a position where everything is good, you know, financially everything's still the same for you, and you want to contribute to the show, whether it's with a super chat or you want to be a Patreon member, patreon.com/RCWR show, $5 a month. You guys can check out bonus audio, video content, because there's loads more that, you know, I get into these days, but I don't pretty much have all my shit in one shot on a show. You feel where I'm coming from? But MJ and Double A brings it up. He sums it up beautifully, which is MJ was just really trying to bring out the best in his teammates as far as their full potential, and that's all he's really guilty of. That's the only thing that he's fucking guilty of. And it's sad how it's been misconstrued amongst some sports shows, podcasts. It's quite sad, you know. And you're talking to somebody that grew up on Michael Jordan. I saw when he got drafted. I lived in Chicago. I saw when he got drafted in 1984. Watched him all the way up until The Last Dance. Watched him when he came out here to DC and he was with the Wizards. Something that does not get talked about enough. I'm hoping that by the end of this, they are going to kind of, you know, bring it up just a little bit. But yeah, I can't wait to see how 9 and 10 is going to end, because 7, it should have been, that's it. That's it. So where do we go from here? It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. All right. So I was talking about 2 hours, 30 minutes. I don't want to be, you know, so we're already at about 2 hours and 24-ish. Yeah, Gino and everybody else. Yeah, sign up. Patreon.com/RCWR show. We're going to end the show now. I'm going to go ahead and say that's it. Please, folks, if you enjoyed this, something that will help out tremendously, especially if you're watching this on YouTube and you pretty much got up to the webcast portion of the show at this point. Thank you so much. Please go that extra mile, especially since it's free. Hit the like button. This helps YouTube as far as their algorithm go. Hey, you like wrestling? You like to talk blah, blah, blah? Well, hey, we think you should check this out because this guy's pretty good. A lot of people like this. Here, you check this out. Subscribe, of course. Spread the word. All that good shit. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Everybody else, depending on where you're watching this, maybe you're watching it. So you can be watching this on Mixer, Twitch, Facebook. You know, leave the kind words. Subscribe, follow, all that good jazz. Stay connected. Love interacting with you guys. Patreon content will be dropping between now and Sunday, so be on the lookout for that. I'm just pretty much resting up. You know, that's really it. But I will be releasing content over the course of the next couple of days for Patreon members. And then your next show, I'll be back live with you guys Monday night. Looking forward to it. Monday night of May the 18th, 2020. I will be live after Raw goes off the air. Meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you may have missed. And since I'm in shameless plugging mode, I had the liberty of editing, mixing down a couple of episodes for my good friends over at Wrestling Soup. I actually had edited and mixed down their Money in the Bank post show. So the free version of that is now available for on demand and the download. So, you know, if you guys want to, you know, represent, you know, feel free to scoop that up and everything. I have a feeling when you guys listen to that, you guys particularly that'll be listening to it on demand and on the downloads, I have a feeling you guys will be like, Lee, is there any way you can kind of bring some of that quirkiness there to the show for on the downloads? It's tedious. I could, but it's tedious. But yeah, you check it out. You guys will kind of hear what I'm talking about when you scoop it up on demand and on the downloads. All right. So that is going to do it. Much love, everybody. And until next go round, please be safe. And most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you all next go round. Adios.